indoors at the Calgary airport for a reason, because the weather's been kind of bad, chasing me around everywhere. But that would be documentary related because of my God, my Jehovah, my faith, and the knowledge He gave me as I was growing up in this country, only to discover how much of it was a lie, swept under the rugs, all the truth of what was actually happening in the background. So they have a big, huge wall here that is actually perfect for me to go through this with you guys, whether I intended to come here and find this or not. And I'm sorry to damper Canada Day, but here goes. That's the reason for my package out to David Attenborough and helping me with my documentary, because one way or the other, as long as I'm breathing and living in this world, it's going to get done. So here we have Canada's Sports Hall of Fame. Years of the Order of Sport. Now, the research I have collected on the missing youth of our country goes all the way back to the 40s, which would be this square piece right here on this board. But the actual information that God led me to in material that I read in books, Nitassen and stuff about those reservation schools and things, their crimes go all the way back to another section, which should be right over here where the bricks are, which would go all the way back to the 30s. So if you're following me, it would be the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, while we're pushing all great on the waterfronts here of sports and futures of Canada, 1970s and 80s, Terry Fox running for Canada, losing his leg. And all the while this stuff was happening, there's all kinds of other lives being lost behind the scenes of mixed culture. It was not specifically a highway of tears of just Aboriginal children. They came as young as 14 and white in Maritimes from 1940s, and he was never found, and they never declared him dead or missing. And then there's all those kids that were sold off or buried or ignored from the 30s. Then there's been all the crimes that have happened in Winnipeg and along the Highway 16 from outside of Manitoba right to Prince George, all the way through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it was at its highest peak of bloodshed and terror when Terry Fox was doing his run. I was a little girl thinking, hey, Canada's a great country. I love being Canadian. Blah, blah, blah. He's a wonderful guy. He should get resurrected and have paradise. Only he was running right through all of the worst times that the crimes were happening of the disappearing women everywhere. And it was unbeknownst to him. He knew nothing about it. So his t-shirt, Marathon of Hope, should say a whole lot more than what he was just running for within his own cause. And I'm not saying he's not a great guy. It's just amazing how the press will pick and choose what they choose to decide to share with the public, right? It's propaganda. And so you don't actually get down to the nitty-gritty truth of it all. So what I'm saying is the reason our country never reached 100 million people in population and why we have all of this influx of immigrant workers and immigrants trying to move here and outsiders from other places trying to buy land and build up towers is because they've crucified us, genocide, slowly putting us off. And if they could get rid of the ones that drive and own houses, they would do that too, till they could just take over the place and it would be, what do you call it, a soulless land. You know, but then the land would take itself back and then you'd have a flood. You'd have the forest taken back with the roots in the water and whatever. The point is, it's not going to work, right? I mean, you can't have that many people disappear in that period of time and not have it become quite obvious and noticeable to those of us that remain, that are from here in our culture and heritage for hundreds of years. Some of us are here for 400 years and think that it's just going to blow over, the wool's going to cover over our eyes. It doesn't work like that. So what I'm going to do with my documentary information is take all that information and take the time to mention the names, share pictures and histories of people. I have Highway of Tears t-shirt. There's still one girl on the shirt whose body has never been found. She was 3 months pregnant. The remains of all the other ones have been found, however, not solved. Renee Gunning and Crystal Knott were on my shirt. They were found, their remains were found. One of them was just, the skull was found the same very month that Madison Scott disappeared. So it's like an anniversary almost. And then the guy that cared about her, all they found of him a little later was just his head, which is all they found of Crystal Knott. And he actually told people, oh, I know what happened to Madison. So then he got killed. And still, there's no solving of her crime. There have been charges laid for the boy, but they're trying to negotiate and go to court again. So overall, I say, they try to say 90% are solved in this country. No, it'd be the other way around. You make or maybe arrest for 10% and the rest is just, swept under the rug and put in boxes and, in case for the next generation, and investigators might try again. But it needs to be talked about. We need a bigger documentary. So I'm hoping I'll get that done. At any rate, I have to wander my way through the rest of the Calgary airport for this Canada Day because it is raining again. She said it was hot and sunny all day, and then I showed up, but it was already raining in Chilliwack. And I can say that the Canada that I thought was great, there isn't much left of it, so there's not much to be celebrating on Canada Day anyway. So I heard other bad news about another Hollywood actress that's passed away, but I won't get into that. So I'm going to finish trying to find my way out of here with the ride app stop we're supposed to go to. So keep checking in. July 3rd is the opening day of the Stampede, and my daughter's teen tour band is playing then, and I'll be there to do all of that, and we won't be talking about anything negative on that day. Okay, peace out, everyone. Thanks for watching on TV. Bye. Yeah, if you look on my channel, guys, and you look up last year videos and stuff, I did list and say the names of people that I have researched that have gone missing through the years, because I thought they deserved a dedicated video where their names were at least mentioned out loud so people could hear the names of people that were actually reported missing. Some bodies were found, many bodies have not been found. And so there's been no peace. There's been no proper burials and stuff, no closure. And so I thought I could give closure by talking about them specifically, and I would like to do a special thing where I'm constantly doing that, broadcasting names and information and pictures where possible, so we could give their spirits some rest, because they deserve that. We're all people, we all deserve that. Okay, so that's my thing, you guys. Thanks, bye.